Hello, bonjour, and welcome to your Bonne Private Wines video. Here we're talking about a wine, a red wine that you've received as part of your shipment containing our French wine selection. One of those wine gems that we've selected for you throughout France. We found small producers that make rare wines with a real passion for their land and for their production. And this wine here is an absolutely perfect illustration of this. So this wine is made by a small winery that is called Domaine Anita. And it is called Domaine Anita, yes, because it is owned and the winemaker and the owner is a woman, and you've guessed it, she's called Anita, Anita Cuno. This is one of these small French family domains virtually run by one person. Anita here, well, I think with her husband and probably just a few workers to help out in the vineyards, but the type of wineries that runs on pure passion for the land, for making wine and for the heritage, for continuing the history of the estate. I don't have many images to show you here about Domaine Anita because Anita is one of these winemakers in Europe especially that is so busy working on the vineyards and making the wines that she doesn't put out many pictures on the internet or social media of her estate, winery and so on. So, you know, you'll just have to believe me, but yeah, go and check out her website, it's absolutely beautiful. So this is a wine made in the famous region of Beaujolais, just south of the Burgundy region. So we're very close to Burgundy. Here they use a local grape that is becoming increasingly trendy in the world of wine that is called Gamay. What's great about Gamay and Beaujolais is that they are relatively light wine, all about the finesse and the expression of the fruit. Even though this particular cuvée is a rather dense and deep example of this style, as you will soon be experiencing. So this cuvée is called Coeur de Vigneronne, which would translate in French, well, from French into the heart of a female wine grower. And you can see how the label features a beautiful love heart with these vine leaves. I find this design absolutely superb. So this is made from a vineyard located in probably the best village in Beaujolais to make wine, in that area to make wine that is called Moulin-à-Vent. Understand the windmill from here. This, well, 60-year-old vines, so very old vines go into making the grapes for this wine. Then the wine is made a very Burgundy type of wine making with open tank fermenters and pushing manually on the skins to extract the flavors and the tannins from the grapes. So this is literally very hands-on, handcrafted type of wine made, yeah, you know, literally by hand by an absolutely passionate and hands-on woman. I tasted all of her wines for this selection and they are all very, very good, but this one is really particularly special, probably because she puts even more heart at making it than the others, and that's why she features a love heart on the label. But enough talking, let's dig into this wine. For the context, this wine has been scored between 92 and 94 points out of 100 by international wine critics and magazines, depending on the vintage, even though this particular 2018 vintage that not many wine critics have tasted yet, I can tell you is much more on the 94 points out of 100 side of things than the 92. It's absolutely, I find it really, really, really good. So what are you going to find when you taste Domaine Anita Coeur de Vigneronne, these female love heart of a wine? Well, first you're going to notice that it looks absolutely superb, very deep and shiny with loads of purple hues to it. It's very vibrant red, but lots of purple hues. This is an indication, it features and it shows that this is a young and vibrant and fruity wine. When you smell the wine, you will notice the explosion of fresh red fruit characters. There's a lot of juicy, fresh, ripe cherry to the nose. The dominant note is this fresh, juicy cherry, a little bit like a cherry juice would smell like, together with fresh blackberry, so it's rather dense and intense, very, very fruity. There will be notes of black pepper as well to lift things up a little bit, and a bit of bringing in a little bit of spiciness. And there's deep notes of dark chocolate, dark cocoa as well, that bring in some depth, and it's probably from the relatively long aging in oak barrel that this wine has gone through. The oak is not dominant, it's very subtle on the background behind the fruit, but there are these toasty hazelnut, a little bit of caramel and dark cocoa. So overall it a little bit smells, it reminds me of the smell of a black forest cake, you know, this rich chocolate cake with some cherries, cherry liqueur infused in the cake as well. So very, very tempting overall to smell at. But let's dig into what it actually tastes like now. Yeah, so this is certainly a dry wine. It's relatively light compared to some bigger wines from the New World or from more southern regions in France. It's relatively light in style, more on the Pinot Noir type of wine. This explosive signature explosion of red fruit and red berry characters that is so typical of Beaujolais, but with the depth, the richness, the complexity of a wine made from very old vines. So tannins are quite dense and very smooth and silky. There's a bit of an oily body. The whole makes for a light fruity style of wine, but that feels serious and that feels salivating, juicy, and so I don't know how to describe it, so enjoyable to taste, because it's all about the fruit. It's all about the smoothness, the balance, you can feel a little bit of the heartiness and the earthiness into the wine as well, that comes through and shines through the terroir because of the respect for the grapes that the winemaker has had in this case. As for wine and food pairing suggestions, well, this is a more lighter style of wine, so this will definitely go better on milder types of food, so more on the white meats type of foods, the salads, maybe some creamy pastas, and the mild hard cheeses. How long to keep this wine or age this wine for? It's absolutely delicious to taste now, so if you want to open it over the next few months, over the holidays, it'll be absolutely perfect, so you will enjoy all the fresh fruitiness that it's got. But it's also a dense wine that is also aged to age a little bit, so it'll probably go through 4, 5, perhaps 7 years of aging if you are after more depth, more spiciness, more intensity and more earthiness into your wine. And if you want to feel, you know, go as far as it'll go, I would suggest maybe try this wine now and try and get hold of more if you can later on, maybe to store it for, you know, 2, 3, 5 years and see how it goes from there. So yeah, a wine with a lot of character, with a fantastic story behind. When you taste this wine, remember that it really comes from a small producer, for someone that has spent months and months and months working herself in the vineyards to grow those grapes and plunging those grapes in the tanks herself and making this wine, and the result is so precise, so fruity, so shiny that it makes the story even more intense and authentic and genuine, because the wine is very, very precise in its fruity expression. It's very, very well crafted, but it's got all of this genuine, authentic story and background behind it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy Domaine Anita wine when you get to taste it. I hope you will enjoy Domaine Anita as much as I did, and I will see you soon in the wonderful world of wine and with our next wine review videos from the club, the Bonner Private Wine Club. Au revoir, bye bye, cheers.